During the Final Fantasy XI event in Wizardry Variants Daphne, the Undying guide is in the basement 1 of the Beginning Abyss, and he offers different characters you can choose from. Like, they're different legendary characters. You can choose one of them. It's kind of like the bone picker you meet when you first create an account. Like, when you first make the Lugnal, you meet a bone picker, lets you choose a legendary adventure. It's just like that. But this time, you get to choose, like, some from the Final Fantasy XI adventure. There's also 3 other adventures that we'll talk about, but there's 6 choices in total. We'll talk about all of them here. So the top one here is, Prishe, however you pronounce her name. But, yeah, so this is... She's kind of like a monk. She fights pretty much a bare hand. She has to use, like, Cestus weapon, like the hand wrap type weapon for her to equip. So she fights her bare hand. They're all 3-hit weapons though, so which is good. So she's always gonna have like a 3-hit attack. So if you use her, so she's probably, a lot of people feel like she's the best of the Final Fantasy characters.
What?
But yeah, that's the top one. The next one is the Priestess. Someone told me this character's like from like the most recent Final Fantasy XI expansion. And well, I probably didn't play it because I've only played Final Fantasy XI for a few months back when like Wings the Goddess was like the current expansion. So like that's like the only expansion I honestly know anything about. So yeah, so but people say that's where she's from.
Oh.
Oh wait, we already clicked on it. So yeah, so like she's pretty much a fighter. She has one skill that heals. It's pretty much like Madios. It also raises resistance, but otherwise she doesn't really have any like priest abilities. I was expecting her to have more like priest spells or something, and she really didn't have any of them, like based on her description. So I was like, oh, I thought she would have like, you know, cure and stuff. Like this guy actually interesting because the top one, the Prishe, like she actually has a curing spell. So yeah, so I thought that was interesting. But yeah, so those are first 2, and then there's this guy, the Dark Knight. He's also kind of like a warrior, but I think he's more interesting than the Priestess lady. He has a few more unique skills, so I think he's probably better than the priest. But both him and the priest are essentially fighters. Like the Priestess lady is essentially a fighter. Like she has a lot of the fighter skills. He has a lot of the fighter skills. So like if you did the potentialities, you can play with them. And both Iroha and Zeid had a lot of the warrior abilities, like poised all out strike and stuff. So I'm not too keen on either of those. But if you really like them, or if you just want to complete your collection of characters, like you didn't pull them from one of the scrolls you get from the event, like, and you just want to have everybody, like, you know, those are totally worth considering. But then you get to the other 3. So this one is Redbeard. You can get him in Adventure Remains too, so it's hard for me to recommend him. But if he is a neutral priest, he's only one of 2 priests in the entire game that is neutral, along with Kathrine. So he has that going for him. He does have a really good inherit that you really do want to teach to Alice at some point. You do want that on Alice at some point. But other than that, you only need like 1 copy of him for that. And I would probably say just get him from Adventure Remains 2 right now, just because I think that's your best bet to try to get him. Because he is available from there. It might take some luck. Or like said, or you could just choose like, or if you're opening Ravens 1, you get enough points to buy a copy of him. You could do that. But then we get to what a lot of people are going to take, and that is Arboris. Arboris, he's a thief. He's an elf thief. His second class is cleric, but he's an elf thief with a skill called Astral Break that is inheritable. It is a very good skill, and it is a skill that a lot of people like to inherit on their main character. It's also somewhat good to inherit on Alice just because of extended turns. But what that skill does, it's a physical attack, and then it essentially casts Porto on the user and the other character directly in front or behind them in the same column. And so if you put that on Alice, you'd have those extra turns. So Alice does not have a lot of SP. The skill takes like 20 SP, so you have to keep that part in mind. But like that, if you don't have Arboris to inherit yet on some of your characters, like this is probably the one you might want. Like this is one like I said, a lot of players are going to be taking this one. So it's hard to not recommend that one just because like it's like I said, it's arguably the best character here.
What?
And then last and definitely least, it is Abenius. Abenius She's also available in Adventuring Lanes too. And unlike Redbeard, she has a skill you never want to inherit on anybody. Like, she's not a good character. I used her a lot early on when I was playing. She seems so good on low levels, but as you get, she is just kind of annoying. Her skill wastes a lot of time, and if you're like doing anything like normal, like, I don't know, it's like I said, it's a weak attack that targets. It always targets the weakest enemy in the field. Yeah, so a lot of times, like, if you're using any kind of AEs or like, I mean, it'll always target an enemy that was gonna die anyway, so it's just kind of a waste a lot of time. So I don't like Abenius in that skill. Like, you don't want to teach it to other people because it'll waste a lot of time. And there's certain game modes. Like, have you ever seen Old Castle Ruins again? Like, her passive's also just, like, super bad for Old Castle Ruins because it counts as a turn, and, yeah, you don't want that there. So, yeah, I don't recommend Abenius if you really want to try to get her from Adventure Remains too, but don't waste your pick here. Like, generally, Arboris, like, you can't go wrong with him just because this is such an important, inherit. And the other option, like I said, it's like, otherwise you could just take her just because all of her weapons hit 3 times. Is Prishe. All of her weapons hit 3 times, so she's gonna be pretty good. Just put, max out her strength. Those are probably, I'd say, the best 2 characters here, though. You might have a hard time disciplining her, like, in the long run, because once this event is over, I doubt we will see any of those 3 characters again. So really, the only reason I think the only reason you'd want to take these other 2 characters, like the Priestess or the Dark Knight, is if you are trying to complete a collection. Like, you already have enough Prishes to take her to wherever you want her. Like, you got her to discipline high enough that you feel is high enough, and you don't really care about, like, getting more, and you just want it, but you didn't get one of these other ones, you just want to have them for your collection. Like, that's the only reason I'd say get them, but you can save this for later. You do not have to grab this right now. You have plenty of time. And yeah, he's literally, if you don't know where this is, it's basement 1 of the beginning abyss. It's literally right by the stairs. Literally right here at the entrance. So if you have this Harkin here, you can literally just come in the Harkin and then just go straight from the Harkin and down the stairs.
Who is that?
And he's right there, and you can just, he'll tell you about the bones. But yeah, this is the Undying Guide. It doesn't say Undying Guide on this account because this account's not far enough, but if you've been to the mausoleum before, like I said, he'll like I said, remind you, he's that guy. He's the guy from the mausoleum. He's the Undying Guide. So it says man scavenging bones here. On my other account it says Undying Guide because we met him in the mausoleum, so. But like that's pretty much who he is. But yeah, pretty much, Arboris, if you want, like I said, probably the best character, like best inherit overall. Otherwise, take Prishe if you are planning on using one of those characters. But those are my recommendations. I think if you want Redbeard or Abenius, you could probably just try to get him from Adventuring Mains too. Anyway, not too much more to say on this one. If you want to see my deeper thoughts on like the Final Fantasy XI event, I did a full video about that, which you can find down below. As always, thank you for watching.